Dear students, today's talk is flight adaptations in birds. When I talk about the flight adaptations in birds, birds are aptly described as the masters of air. Man constructed aeroplanes after seeing birds. Birds are good flyers. These are the fastest animals. Their morphology, anatomy, and physiology are highly modified for movement in the air. What are the main flight adaptations? First of all, we can go for the shape. What is the shape of the birds? How it affects the adaptations? Birds have streamlined, board-shaped or spindle-shaped body. It gives very little resistance while flying. One of the very important adaptation when we talk about the feathers, here you can see the example of a quill feather. How feathers help in adaptation? You can see the body is fully covered by feathers. They have the following functions. What are the main functions of feathers? They reduce friction, they reduce weight. Wing feathers are used for striking the air. Tail feathers are used for lifting up the steering. Body feathers form a blanket. The blanket folds certain amount of air between the body and the feather covering. This air helps the birds to keep a buoyancy. When we talk about the tail feathers, they help in lifting up steering. You can see the wings when we talk about the four limbs are modified into wings which are used for striking the air. Here you can see this is the what I have mentioned in the diagram. You can see here the primary feather, primary covering rather we can say here is the primary covering. Then the here is the ala spura, fingers, thumb, forearm, and here are the second feathers. Very important point: loss of weight. For flight, weight must be reduced. This is achieved by the following features. One very important point: bones are pneumatic. What do you mean by pneumatic? They are provided with air sacs. Skull bones are thin and sutures are obliterated. Absence of ovary and oviduct from one side. It also helps in the loss of weight. Absence of urinary bladder. Production of solid acid product in the form of uric acid. Absence of teeth. Very important point. There are no teeth in case of birds. And as I have already mentioned, presence of feathers. Flight muscles. The wing is operated by a set of muscles called flight muscles. The flight muscles are highly developed in flying birds and poorly developed in the flatlet birds. There are four sets of flight muscles. They are pectoralis major. Here you can see the pectoralis minor, coracobrachialis, and the tensor muscles. You can see here the coracobrachialis, then coracobrachialis brevis, biceps, triceps, again the pectoralis minor and pectoralis major. Very important point, one more point, the air sacs. As I have mentioned in the diagram, there are four paired and one unpaired air sacs are there in case of pigeon. It means there are total 9 air sacs are there. Air sacs are thin-walled, non-muscular sacs connected to the lungs. There are paired cervical air sacs, anterior thoracic air sacs, posterior thoracic air sacs, and an unpaired interclavicular air sacs. The air sacs serve as reservoir for air. Very significantly, you can see what are the other adaptations when we talk about the warm-bloodedness. Birds are warm-blooded animals. It helps the perfect aeration of the blood and a great output of energy. The constant body temperature helps the birds to take flight at high altitude and in all seasons. One more point, there is the efficient circulatory system. Active flight requires high output of energy. High output of energy requires more oxygen. The circulatory system is highly adapted for carrying more oxygen. The blood contains large amount of hemoglobin. Heart is large and divided into four chambers. when we talk about the excretion, third point, the excretory system is highly modified to reduce weight. In my previous slide, I mentioned urinary bladder is absent. Urine is in the form of semi-solid uric acid. One fourth point is the vision. The power of eyes is very high. It is pectin. This helps us to see objects from very high altitudes. You can see this is the pectin and foot of a bird I have mentioned backward dilated toes and forward dilated toes. Again, one more very important point, perching. When I discuss about the perching, the hind limbs and their muscles are well adapted for perching. Thus, a bird sleeping on a perch cannot fall down. You can see the pneumatic bones. I had mentioned the bones in birds are pneumatic, containing air sacs. This renders their weight loss. And the synsacrum, one more, I have mentioned in my previous slide. What do you mean by synsacrum? Syn refers to joint, sacrum, sacral vertebra. In the vertebral column, about 14 vertebrae are fused together to form a plate-like structure called synsacrum. It acts as a girder to support the entire weight of the bird. It is formally the fusion of the vertebra. How many vertebra? Thoracic vertebra 1, lumbar 6, sacral 2, and the caudal vertebra 5. When we talk about the keel, what the keel? The sternum bears a median ridge called keel or carina. The flat muscles are firmly attached to the keel. One more point is the furcula. The clavicles of the two pectoral girdles are fused ventrally to form a V-shaped structure called furcula or merry thought bone or wishbone. It works like a spring between the two wings. So these are the some of the aspects of flight adaptations of birds. Thank you. I hope this whole talk is beneficial for you all. Thank you very much.